like and subscribe. Girls, what NSFW questions about guys have you always wondered? How does it feel to get a boner, and how often per day do you get one? At least every morning. When dating with someone, and she sends you nudes, what happens with those? Does it die in your gallery with other pictures, or does it actually get used from time to time? I would rather use the nudes from the girl I'm interested in than porn most of the time. Does it hurt when you run naked without holding your junk, and it's swinging all around? When doing non-sexual physical exercise, testicles can draw up towards the body to prevent injury. It's called the chromoseric reflex. So when running, the balls clench up and tighten instinctively, and the penis is designed to be able to endure potentially slapping against the body. Not really, it kinda just flops around. If you don't come for a while, like a week or a month or so, do your balls feel different? Like, pressurized or sore? My balls won't really feel different, but sex will preoccupy more and more of my thinking as time goes on. It's kind of like, if you don't eat, as you get hungrier you think more and more about food and eating. What does it feel like to come? Is it like when to finally get to pee, after having to hold it? As you approach it, a wave of pleasure washes over your body. You stop thinking of anything else, and can only focus on finishing. You need to come. You need release and nothing else matters. There's a tipping point. You hit that, and know it's going to happen. There's no turning back. Imagine you're on a roller coaster. You hit the peak of the one big hill and you know that once the weight of the coaster makes it over, you're going down. The coaster hasn't begun to fall yet, but you know, there's no going back. Once you pass that tipping point, you can feel your balls pumping cum. The incredibly sensitive penis is now being pumped full of cum, and it feels wonderful. A few more strokes, a few more thrusts, whatever is causing it. It's happening. You take those final few strokes and your brain reboots. Like hitting reset on a computer. There's nothing else. There's no world. There's no life. It's just this orgasm. Your entire body flexes at once. Your legs, feet, arms, back, face, neck. Every muscle, flex it now, and hold it for a few seconds and then release. That's what happens. You flex and your spasms, twitches and shoots out the cum. If you make a fist, squeeze very quickly, release, and then squeeze again. That's roughly what's happening with your. It convulses, and as it does, the cum flows past the extremely sensitive head, and you feel like your vision could go white for just a moment. The wave of pleasure hits hard and fast. Much like an actual wave at the beach. 1 minute you're fine. The next thing you know, your body is upside down. You're underwater, and then you take a breath knowing it's over, but you're still not done with the experience. Everything I said in the last 2 paragraphs takes place in about 6 to 7 seconds. Your body intenses, you relax. The muscles are no longer flexing, but your is still pumping out the last rope, or bit of cum. You remember you stopped breathing and inhale, catching your breath. You're now entered post-nut clarity. You've removed absolutely all lust from your body. Anything you had convinced yourself to watch, or do while getting to that tipping point now comes crashing back. You may realize, oh wow, I should not have finished to that. Or maybe you're just incredibly honest with yourself, and you suddenly realize, I should go for a run in a bit, I've been putting it off. Your body stops tingling, and now it's over as the wave of relaxation hits. Imagine if your wee hole had to sneeze after not being able to after some time. It feels like your entire body is erupting out of your penis in the best G way possible. Is it true not all men can come from a blowjob? Edit. Thank you for all the replies. I read them all, and found all your responses extremely insightful. Peace. I absolutely love giving my hubby head, because well, it gets me wet. Just like not all guys can make a girl orgasm, not all girls can make a guy come. I found blowjobs to be the thing that consistently are the hardest thing for a girl to do. I know girls that like to twist, others like to grip too hard. Others suck it like a straw. It's not something you can practice with a dildo, and no one BJ technique works for every partner. Of all the partners I've had, only one has made me come from a blowjob. So it's not that guys can't come from being given a BJ, but with enough communication, they can. Probably. Kinda hard to say, since no guy has talked to all men. Women probably know more about this than most men. Wait, what does it feel like to receive head? And no, I don't mean the pleasure. Like when a girl does it, is it like all slimy on it? When done right it's amazing. The tongue touches all the points that feel nice. If done wrong it's a wide wet hole. Either way, it's nice. What the hell is post-nut clarity? After ejaculation our minds are no longer hyper-focused on sex, so we begin to dislike things we were otherwise very interested in whilst horny. This is super common with people who are into fetishes, especially the more interesting underscore ones. They are all for it right up until they climax, and then once they do they are disgusted by what they were watching / not interested at all, until they get horny again 30 minutes later. A good metaphor is that PNC is the feeling of being drunk for a few hours, and then immediately becoming sober, and thinking why was I just acting like an idiot? Imagine if you could completely remove specific motivation from your life, for a few minutes. Any choices you make during the day due to hunger, thirst, boredom, loneliness, maybe even the temperature outside. You were hungry, and bought cookies today. You drank extra water, because you were thirsty. You signed up on a dating app because you're lonely, or called a friend to talk for a while. But go deeper. Imagine with the cookies. The feelings that come with hunger. Imagine hearing your stomach growl, that feeling you get when you're hungry, knowing there's cookies, so close and you could get them. You want to stay on your diet so you don't have the calories to spare. You focus on your task, but once in a while, that stomach feeling hits again, and you begin to think about the cookie. Or go with thirsty. It's hot outside, your mouth is dry. You know you're starting to dehydrate, and your body needs water. You think about the first sip of that drink, what the cold water will feel like on your tongue. Now apply post-nut clarity to those. Instead of feeling full from the cookie, knowing it will hold you off until lunch, it simply removes, 100% removes hunger. Hunger does not exist in the universe. Your body does not understand, nor need food. You are just complete, the way you are. You don't need sustenance, nutrients. You don't need dinner, you don't need breakfast. Hunger is not just gone in the moment because you're full. Hunger does not exist. So then you may begin to wonder or reflect back on some of the things you did when hunger did exist. Like you ate that extra sausage at breakfast, even though you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have gone to get those cookies. You're disappointed in yourself. Hunger does not exist now, but it once did, and you're hyper aware of it. That's the post-nut clarity, except obviously hunger / thirst is last. It's amazing how many girls and women have no idea about shrinkage. Or the penis can shrink and grow even without a boner lol. I was in the pool. Is absolutely true. What does it feel like to be inside someone? Have you ever been wrapped really tightly in a warm heavy blanket on a cold day? If you add the sensation of a firm all over massage, and then localize the sensation to just the absolute most sensitive part of your body, that is basically what it is like. I also have this enormous emotional connection, a swelling sense of urgency, and absolute focus on my partner. Also, the feeling of impact of your partner's thighs and bottom on my thighs and pelvis is quite pleasing. Perhaps like being firmly hugged. Running without a sports bra hurts our boobs because they bounce. Does running not hurt your /balls? No, we wear underwear. Maybe for people jogging commando, it might be unpleasant, but I don't have any experience with that. Nah, it's fine. S shrink remarkably, and bowel sacs retract to keep the balls quite close to the pelvis. Unless you are horse-sized, you're fine. I can run and bike with boxers just fine. Why do you sometimes struggle to get a boner? I experienced that with 2 guys already, when we wanted to have sex for the first few times. Assuming there is no medical issue, the issues can be 1. Stress. 2. Nerves. 3. They are not aroused. 4. They masturbated shortly before. Anxiety kills boners. and makes it impossible to get hard. If a dude can't get it up, try shifting the focus away from his and just do some touching/kissing. If you show him that you aren't just a ball of expectations and actually want to spend time with him, regardless of boner potential, he'll feel closer to you, and you're more likely see the results you were looking for. What little acts of love do you like the most? Honestly, anything. Guys get basically nothing in the way of support, let alone love. If you give a guy a compliment, he'll remember it for years to come. A genuine compliment. When you are taking a slip into the toilet seat and touch the poop? *edit. Does it touch the inner rim of the toilet seat is a more practical question? God no. It has slipped, and if it's hard it can touch the toilet but not the itself. You gotta get a next level big to touch it with your no, but if you're a little hard or the toilet seat ice know it quite right, you can through the gap between the seat and toilet. Not convenient. Do you pee sitting when at home? I'll pee sitting down if I don't want to turn the bathroom light on. When I have my phone, yes. If I don't, I stand. How are you guys really feeling today? Anything bottled up you would like to share? Edit, as expected. Men tend to have it quite tight. Be kind, be patient, and don't be so hard on men. They, including women, are human with human needs, before they are men. Let the men be human. I'm conflicted. I've started to develop feelings for a close friend, and I'm afraid, if I share how I feel it will destroy the friendship, and it's not worth the risk. What do balls feel like? Are they heavy? Squishy? Hard? Edit. Okay, I get it now, lol. But thanks for the serious replies. None of the above. Please don't squish them. Close one eye, and put your finger on it. It's kinda like that. How embarrassing is it to get a boner while answering a question your teacher told you to, or when asking your crush out? For me, personally, when I get random boners, I get really self-aware about it, and start thinking, why are you getting up now? So I kinda zone out for a secretary, then I just return to what I was doing and it fades away. Does your junk get in the way all the time? I'd totally accidentally sit on my balls or something. Sometimes, most of the time I don't really notice it or it's there, unless I start getting warm and my junk sticks to the side of my thigh, and I gotta do a weird jiggle to unstick it. What s you off most about dating/being in relationships with women? What is something y'all like all women to realize about men? I'd like to have time to myself, but that doesn't mean I don't like you. What gets to me most is when a woman was used to being around her friends a lot, so when we go on a date or hang out then her friends show up. We are dating you and your friends, so please don't bring them to our dates. Please stop with all the nonsensical hints. Just openly tell us that you have feelings for us. Or even better, just ask us out. I'm not interested in wasting time pondering what you said was a hint or just a friend. We are dumb. We take everything at face value. Can you get hurt during sex? I am always scared that if I am on top that I'll accidentally hurt the guy. Penile fracture is very real and extremely painful. It's documented in medical journals. Hospitals, doctors and medical professionals know about them. It happens more often than you think actually. Edit. It's also interesting to refer to an erection as a boner, despite the penis not having a bone. And yet, despite not having a bone, it can still get fractured. https://n/m Wikipedia org/wiki/penile_fracture. Warning. Picture of a fractured penis in there. Also there is some small part of skin somewhere that can rip. Bear with me, I have a lot of questions about the men's bathroom, because it absolutely baffles me. When dudes go to a public toilet, what is the common etiquette? Just how far are you allowed to drop your pants, before it becomes public indecency? Do men make fun of the other men who use the stalls, because they know they're either taking a Or feeling self-conscious? Do men actually use the little opening in the front of their pants, or do you have to pull them down to pee? Is there toilet paper at the urinals? Someone once said you just shake it a little. How do you not get infections? Why aren't there like covers for each urinal? From what I've briefly witnessed walking into the wrong bathroom, it's just a line of urinals and you just pee out. Surrounded by other dudes with your junk out just fine. How do you not get self-conscious about it? If there's no room in the men's toilets and your friend is at one of the urinals, is it okay to share to save on space? Do men's bathrooms have condom dispensers similar to how some of ours have emergency pad and tampon ones? Why don't men just sit and pee? Do men really have measuring contests with each other, or is that just a myth made up in high school days to make fun of the dudes and or guess who has the smallest? Do you talk to each other at the urinal? It's so bizarre. I can't begin to imagine how horrible it'd be for a guy to have pee shyness, or be self-conscious about his size, and going to a public toilet. I am on mobile so I'm gonna do my best to answer it. We just unzip our zipper and hang the old boy out to pee. It is an unspoken rule that you do not stand directly next to each other, unless it's really busy. Concerts for example. Nobody comments on people taking a TBH. But we don't really care either. Urinals don't have toilet paper, we just shake and dry. If it is a normal toilet I do take a bit of paper and wipe dry, but that is different for everyone. You don't make eye contact at urinals. Just stare at the wall. Conversation with strangers absolute no go. Some restrooms have condom dispensers, not all. We don't sit and pee, because mostly it is way faster to go to a urinal, and more hygienic. I hope this answers most of your questions. I will answer each question individually. When dudes go to a public toilet, what is the common etiquette? Don't take the urinal directly next to someone if there's space. Just how far are you allowed to drop your pants before it becomes public indecency? You don't need to drop it very far at all. The front comes down a few inches, the back not at all. Do men make fun of the other men who use the stalls because they know they're either taking a or feeling self-conscious? Never, in my experience. Do men actually use the little opening in the front of their pants, or do you have to pull them down to pee? I never ever use this, assuming you're talking about the hole in the underwear. Is there toilet paper at the urinals? Nope, only in the stalls. Someone once said you just shake it a little. How do you not get infections? Hardware's different. It just doesn't happen I guess. Why aren't there like covers for each urinal? You don't need to touch the urinal, so no use. From what I've briefly witnessed walking into the wrong bathroom, it's just a line of urinals and you just pee out. Surrounded by other dudes with your junk out just fine. How do you not get self-conscious about it? Some do, some don't. I get a little bit self-conscious sometimes, especially if it takes longer than normal. But I've used public restrooms enough where it's just normal. And nicer bathrooms have little walls between urinals that helps a lot. If there's no room in the men's toilets and your friend is at one of the urinals, is it okay to share to save on space? Absolutely not. Never ever. Do men's bathrooms have condom dispensers similar to how some of ours have emergency pad and tampon ones? Only really Thai gas station bathrooms, and they usually cost a few quarters. Why don't men just sit and pee? It's a lot faster to use a urinal. Also I don't want to put my where 1,000 other men's have recently been. I do sit to pee at home, so I can sit on my phone though lol. Do men really have measuring contests with each other, or is that just a myth made up in high school days to make fun of the dudes and or guess who has the smallest? I have never been in one. Maybe they happen, but I drink. Do you talk to each other at the urinal? Unspoken code, no. Some men break the code. Hope that answers all your questions. For guys who are attracted to females, what about women turns you on? Them being fit, them being chunky, them being submissive. than being dominant. One can go on like this until the morning. The truth is every guy likes something else. Near everything. I have been absolutely drawn into a woman by as much as her whole figure, presence, or attitude, and as little as a glance, a small gap in her teeth, or a laugh. It is akin to asking me what I like about food. I love food. All kinds of food. Spicy, savory, sweet, or rich, maybe delicate and refined, or some fried sweet food. If asked what draws me to food other than mere desire for calories, the world is just as broad and open. I will say that, more than anything, it is breasts. That little delicate line peeping from a well-cut shirt and the swell of breasts gently emerging from a woman's body is built to catch my eye. Small breasts, normal breasts, boulders, all good. Have you ever tried on woman's pants or swimwear? How does it fit on you, especially the crotch, hip, waist areas? Pants. My hips, butt and thighs felt amazing, but it felt like my junk obviously wasn't supposed to be in there. Couldn't move without pinching the goods. I had to buy yoga pants for a costume I was making. I never knew I had an until I check myself out in the mirror. It's like a second layer of skin that shows off all of the curves I never thought I had. It was an interesting discovery. No, I like my pockets too much. How do you sit down? What happens to the penis? The penis and balls aren't right between the legs. It is much more forwards than you think. It has its spot when you're sitting down, just like any part of your body in a position. What is it like giving head to a woman? Physically, it just feels like licking skin. Some women don't taste great at first, but a few licks and it's fine. I don't really mind. I've gone down on women who just lay there until orgasm. I thought I wasn't doing it right, but I guess that's how they were. That is less enjoyable to do. I much prefer women who react to getting head, moaning, squirming, pulling your head in, etc. It's much more of a turn on. Personally, I like it. Feels good to make your partner feel good. Sometimes a little irritating on the tongue, if they are stubbly. Occasionally neck pain, but that's cured by a pillow under their hips lol. It's hot when they get into it, and you can feel your beard getting wetter and you know you're doing something right. I have a vagina too, and giving head to a woman feels very different to receiving it. Others may feel differently, but to me, receiving it feels warm, intimate, and has an emotional element that normal sex does not have. Whereas when giving head, I do not know if other people experience it in the same way as me, but the first thing you experience is the taste, which can vary from nice and interesting to gross. Your hands are also involved in giving head. It is not just your mouth, and you are usually very focused on two things. 1. Trying to breathe. When your head is completely covered, you need to use your hands or special angles to create a space to breathe through. And 2. Trying to ensure every time you move to get air, that your tongue remains touching their clit and is not in a different area, or on top of the clit hood. Part of this is through the way it feels, but the other part is having to be very focused on her body language and sounds. The clit swells when a woman is aroused, but depending on the woman and how into she is, the size can vary greatly, and it can be extremely small sometimes. The best way to give head is to basically squish your face into them to be able to apply as much pressure as possible, but you need to come up for air, and need to make it all appear to be part of the action. The last thing you want is for a woman horrors getting into it and shoving your head closer to feel like they are choking you, and that you are not enjoying it, and it is very easy to make them feel that way if you stop for air, rather than finding a way to continue the whole time. Women are taught to be ashamed of their vaginas, so a big part of giving head is making sure she is too busy enjoying it to get in her head and think about your experience of it. I hope that I not too crass. It is hard to explain. Edit, corrected it to clarify. Why the unsolicited pics? I got nothing for that. DDURE never understood the compulsion of some guys thinking you want to see a turtle with a sweater. Mostly the misconception that most women just play hard to get, and that they like most men always want sex all the time too. They just hope the pic would spark the sexual lust, like a small obstacle that need to be crossed. Do guys enjoy anal stimulation, getting rimmed, fingered, wearing plugs etc.? Only if you're wearing a Shrek mask and whispering that'll do, donkey into my ear while doing it. Depends on the person, just like with women. Does it hurt to bike? Or does down there ever get in the way? Well, we are standing on the saddle with our butt cheeks, so no, they don't hurt, but if it's very hot outside they might become uncomfortable. I like how all the questions are penis/sex related, lol. Because we just don't understand how you guys walk around with those things. The title of the post says NSFW. What are some of the most awkward time I've got a boner? I am curious. How do you make it stop? You can try to think about something else, say taxes or something, but eventually it'll usually go away on its own. How can guys move their penis at will? It blew my mind when I saw it for the first time. Literally same way you cajole. Flex the muscle that you would to stop peeing midstream. We clench our buttholes, and it moves in one direction. What is a blowjob? Like, what are they doing with their mouths that you enjoy? Obviously they are not blowing, and there is definitely some sucking going on, but what else, and how hard are they sucking? Is it similar to the amount of sucking used to drink through a straw? Given a score. Ingo exists. Not every blowjob is using suction. So is it nice just to have a warm lubricated hole? Is someone trying to squeeze their mouth around it good? I have identified as a dyke my whole life, but I have always loved and been fascinated with penises, just never interacted with one. Haha, definitely less suction than a straw, I'd hope. It's more like eating an ice pole/ice cream. If done right, it's lots of tongue on the head of the penis. Given a score. Ingo exists. Not every blowjob is using suction. So is it nice just to have a warm lubricated hole? Is someone trying to squeeze their mouth around it good? Yes. I read medical books my mother gave to me about human anatomy. So I understand that there are veins connecting between the shaft and the so-called balls. So, my point. When guys stroke themselves, do they accidentally pull one of those veins by accident? No, the veins are never really protruding in a significant way for this. It does provide a minor obstacle when shaving though. What does it feel like when men get a boner? Like tensing a muscle, but without having to consciously do it, which is sometimes annoying cause it is like, oh what is it boy? What do you see? Less funny than it seems. It's a physical, involuntary reaction. Sometimes it even happens without stimulation. If I didn't have sexual activity/masturbation in a while. It just goes on, and if I wear jeans it can even be painful, because it gets hard, but there's no space for it to stay stretched. I once spent a couple weeks alone with a friend at my home for summer, and she basically wore only pajama panties and shirt at home, half transparent. I basically spent all mornings and evenings hard for 2 weeks straight, hiding it with many tricks, and I didn't say anything, because it would have needed me to explain her she made me hard. I just hope she comes in winter next times. T-1 hour to guys. What NSFW questions about girls have you always wondered? As someone who has never had a boyfriend and always feel like I am not cool enough, vertical bar what are some characteristics you like when going out with a girl? I feel like guys don't like my bubbly and open personality. Or my why mysterious friends steal their opportunity or no vertical bar. Honestly, from the point of view of a guy, these are the exact same concerns that go through our minds all the time. What does a girl like in a guy? Why do girls get attracted to that asshole over there and not a little quiet and kindly? That being said, I never once seen a cool factor being important for any guy when being with a girl. Nor did I ever heard about having a bubbly personality be a bad thing. I think the largest factor why those get guys before you is confidence. It's the old adage, if you don't try, you won't succeed. So if you really want to impress a guy, make the first move. Guys are expected to be the ones asking someone out, so fear or rejection is a big one with us. Also, guys never get compliments, so those can go really a long way. A question for my fellow men. Do you guys actually enjoy being called daddy? To me it's a total turn off. Makes me feel gross. Hell no. I don't go about seeking daddy porn either, so I think it is just the way I have grown with my parents throughout life. Ladies. Just because a guy has a boner, doesn't mean he's trying to. For a woman, feeling hot is a process, a growing thing. But men can be all chill, and the second after become hard. How does that feel? First you feel normal and the second after you're hot? I was always intrigued about how this works. Okay, I'll elaborate a bit. That's a great question. I speak for no one but me, my experience is just mine. There are two kinds of horny, body horny and brain horny. Brain horny is more the way you describe it, a process, a growing thing, that needs to be built up somehow. I personally call this true horniness, because that's when I actually feel excited about anything sexual. Then there is physical horny, which is when PP is hard. It's just there. You know it's accessible, you could easily rub one out, but it's whatever. The thing is, will happen quite often, get physically horny, because you are brain horny, but it's more difficult for it to go the other way around. My theory is, that what you describe as to go from 0 to 100 is in fact, when a man is both brain and physically horny. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.